With me today is Tara Rosselot, the new principal of Locust Corner Elementary, but you're no stranger to the Richmond School District with your experience at the Clermont County Education Service Center.
Right.
How many dealings have you had with New Richmond? I know you're preschool and early childhood literacy background.
Right. When I first came to the Educational Service Center, I worked on the curriculum side. So I was, since I'm a reading specialist, I was always working with the various districts in Clermont County on their reading, language arts, English, any of those courseworks that they would work with. And so I dealt with curriculum there.
So currently, what are you, the preschool specialist?
I was the preschool supervisor. I was responsible for 300 preschoolers. 50% of our preschoolers were special education. They had an IEP and needed some special services. And the other 50% were typically developing preschoolers. And I would move all over the county and supervise those children.
And you have a PhD.
I do. I do.
Should we call you Dr. Tara?
You can. When I teach my college courses, generally my college students call me doctor, but it's certainly not a requirement.
Your background is unbelievable for elementary position. Principal certification, which you just recently got. You're superintendent license, administrative specialist for curriculum and instruction and professional development. Your PhD from the University of Cincinnati, and a Miami grad. You had to go to UC for your PhD.
I was a Miami grad, but I got my master's degree at Miami.
And you had the reading specialist. And nowadays that's so important with the third grade reading guarantee.
Yes.
Your background is perfect coming into this first year where the third grade reading guarantee kicks in.
Yes.
What kind of challenges do you see there?
Well, I had a little preview of those challenges because this past semester, the spring semester, I taught one of the university courses for the graduate courses for the teachers in Clermont County who needed to get their reading endorsement. So I've been teaching that through Ashland University, and I will continue to teach that cohort next year in the evenings as my second job. And so I see a lot of the challenges. You know, a lot of times in with reading instruction, we become so focused on fluency and children being able to decode words that we forget that the really important piece of reading instruction is that comprehension piece and giving children the strategies to enable them to be good meaning makers so that they can read any text, whether it be in science, in math, in social studies, and make meaning from that text and be able to comprehend. So that's where we're going to focus, and that has that's got real roots in the way I've been trained, and that whole reading and writing connection. So those are things that are really going to be important for us as we move ahead.
And I say you're certified in Marzano Casual Teacher Evaluation Model, which is what New Richmond is going to go by.
Yes.
I mean, you got the O-Test and of course the Ohio Teacher Evaluation System, but they do allow you to use another model.
Right. And New Richmond has chosen the eye observation model, which I actually came over and piloted, took a look at with Mr. Bird in the fall. So I had been familiar with using that. I've been trained Marzano, so that would be my choice in teacher evaluation models, and I think it's really comprehensive.
What would you tell a young teacher? They're just starting their career and they got to worry about third grade reading, got a half-year evaluation based on test scores.
Right.
What do you tell a young teacher?
Well, you know, it's really what I've always told teachers. As I've taught teacher education courses for teachers who are getting their licenses for many years at different universities. And I've always said the same thing. You need to do your homework as a teacher. You need to understand what the standards are and how involved they are and what depth we need to go into as we take a look at what children are learning. And make your plan in advance and be sure that you've incorporated all of those standards to the depth they need to be studied as we go through our year. So it's really important that teachers do their homework and that they have a plan and that they're organized and ready to complete that. Also, teacher professional development is really important. That was a big piece of what I talked about in my interviewing here. A professional learning community of teachers who work together and work with their curriculum leader and principal to design the kind of instruction that's most effective for students to be able to learn. That's crucial.
You officially start August 1st,
Yes.
but you've already started, I imagine.
I have. At the Educational Service Center, we have what we call non-contract days. So I have a number of days that I haven't used or haven't taken off. So I'm gonna start early and get some time in. In fact, next week I'm going to go visit Mrs. Renner and talk with her a few days and work with her some days and kind of get used to her system of how things went. She was an very effective leader, and I want to be sure that I take off on some of those ideas. I also did, one way I'm familiar with Locust Corner is I did one of my principal internships at Locust Corner.
Oh, okay.
So I have been in the building. I know a number of the teachers. I've worked with them. I've had some of them in teacher education classes. And I've also spent a good bit of time over there, so I'm fairly familiar with them.
John Fry and Adam Bird and the board just adopted their K-12 literacy program. Are you familiar with that? What they've come up with?
Yes, and I think the addition of the Saxon Phonics K through 2 is a great addition to help with that literacy program. So yeah, I'm very up to date on that and think they've made some good decisions.
A lot of people don't understand Common Core.
Mm-hmm.
You've looked into that a lot. You know, there's misgivings. You got talk show hosts or telling you're trying to brainwash your kids or internationalizing their education. What do you tell people that are confused about the goals of the Common Core?
I think the Common Core sets the bar high, and I think that's a good thing. I think we need to challenge students to learn the same way no matter where they're from. And I think if the Common Core is working in Tokyo, and if the Common Core is working in Seattle, Washington, or the Common Core, or wherever it's working, I think our students need to be challenged to be on the same page with people globally. And I think that's what the Common Core has tried to do. I don't think it's focusing too much on academics. I think there's still room for creative teaching, and there's still room when we explore the curriculum with depth. I think there's still room for every teacher's creativity and different activities that they want to incorporate into that core. I think it's just there as a guidance, and I usually tell teachers, young teachers or teachers that I'm working with in teacher education, that Ohio has set forth the standards for us in the Common Core, and those are our guidelines. Those are our benchmarks. So it's only a good thing for us to have those and be able to use those guidances to get our kids up to speed and to have them be competitive with other children all over the nation and all over the world.
Well, it's certainly a big goal for educator, and your first year as administrator, you're stepping in.
There's
a
so
difficult
much.
year for teachers, but we welcome you into Richmond.
Very happy to be here.
You're